Before you give up on them, just watch. Most people give up too soon. They think they've lost the battle. Before the war has even started, they're pulling away, acting distant, not responding the way they used to, and you feel like it's over. But what if I told you this is actually your biggest opportunity? What if instead of walking away defeated, you could turn everything in your favor without chasing, begging, or losing your self-respect? Most people never understand this. They act too soon, too desperate, and too emotional, and that's exactly what ruins everything. So before you give up, watch this. Because if you apply what I'm about to tell you, you'll be in a position most never reach. Let's get into it. 1. Why they're pulling away in the first place. Most panic when someone becomes distant. They assume they've lost interest, found someone else, or simply doesn't care anymore. But the reality is much deeper. People don't just wake up one day and stop feeling something. It happens gradually in stages. Here's what happens. They stop feeling the chase. When they first met you, there was mystery, excitement, and challenge. Now they know exactly how you feel. And it's predictable. They test your emotional control. People subconsciously want to see how you handle emotional shifts. Do you panic? Do you overreact? Or do you remain unshaken? They need space to feel something again. Attraction isn't built on words, it's built on distance, tension, and emotions. When everything is always available, it loses value. And this is where most fail. Instead of pulling back when they do, they push harder. They text more, call more, try harder. And that's when attraction dies, because now they don't have to work for your attention anymore. If they don't have to work for it, they won't value it too. The silent test. You didn't even notice. Here's something most miss entirely. When someone pulls away, it's often a subconscious test. They don't always plan it, but their instincts are watching. They're wondering, are you emotionally strong enough to handle this? Will you chase? Or will you hold your ground? Do you truly have options? Or are you just pretending? And here's the dangerous part. Most fail instantly. They ignore you. You text again. They take longer to respond. You ask if everything is okay. They cancel plans. And you try to reschedule immediately. Every single one of these reactions proves to them that they're in full control. But the people who win this test, the ones who truly stand out, do something different. They don't react emotionally. They don't chase. They don't beg for answers. They simply hold their position. And that's when they start to feel something unexpected. Regret. The power of controlled distance. Here's what most don't realize. People don't fall in love with presence. They fall in love with absence. The less you give away freely, the more they value what they get. Think about it. When something is always available, you stop noticing it. But when something disappears, you start craving it. That's why pulling back at the right time is the most powerful move you can make. Instead of texting them first, wait. Instead of liking their posts, ignore them. Instead of adjusting your schedule for them, prioritize yourself. Because when you stop being predictable, stop being too easy to reach, and stop reacting instantly, everything changes. They start noticing your absence. And that's when they start wondering, why isn't he reacting? Did he lose interest? Is he seeing someone else? The moment you stop giving freely, they start missing you for what to do instead of chasing. Most try to fix a situation like this. They think, maybe if I explain myself, if I show them how much I care, they'll come back. But attraction doesn't work like that. Instead of trying to win them back with words, do this: match their energy. If they're distant, don't overcompensate. Pull back and stay neutral. If they reach out, respond. But don't overinvest. How to handle it. Most make the mistake of welcoming them back too easily. They disappear for a week, then suddenly text, hey. And what do most do? They jump at the opportunity. Big mistake. Here's how to handle it. Instead, stay calm. Don't act like their message is the best thing that's happened to you. Let them work for it. If they disappeared, they need to prove they're serious about coming back. Take back control of the pace. Don't fall into old patterns. Let them feel the distance before giving them too much attention again. If you do this, they'll respect you more, because now they know they can't take you for granted. 6. If they never come back, read this. Here's the truth you need to accept. Not everyone will come back. And that's okay, because if they pull away and never return, then they just saved you from wasting more time on the wrong person. You don't want someone who stays only when you chase them. You want someone who chooses to stay because they value you. The power of silence. Here's something most will never understand. Silence is one of the most powerful responses you can give. Most think they need to argue, explain themselves, or fight for their attention when they start pulling away. But the truth is, silence speaks louder than words ever could. It creates mystery, uncertainty, and a shift in emotional power. At first, they might not even notice. They assume you'll be back. They assume you'll check in, send a text, or try to fix things. But then days pass, then weeks, and suddenly, they realize something is different. That's when everything starts shifting in their mind. Because now you're no longer predictable, you're no longer the person who always checks in or waits. Instead, you've disappeared from their world. And that creates a void. They weren't expecting it, forces them to reevaluate their feelings for you. 14. Why people underestimate you. Until you go silent, most assume that others will always be available. They assume that no matter what they do, no matter how much they pull away, you'll still be there waiting. And why wouldn't they? Most chase, and most can't handle distance. But when you don't act like most, when you choose silence over chasing, it disrupts their expectations. They start thinking, wait, why isn't he reacting? Why hasn't he tried to talk to me? Is he actually moving on? And those thoughts spark something deep inside them. It forces them to ask themselves a question they never expected to ask. Did I misjudge him? That question alone creates a wave of emotions that most aren't prepared for. 15. The moment they start to feel your absence. Here's the part most never get to see. Because they give up too early at first. They feel fine. They might even feel relieved. They assume you'll reach out soon. But then silence, no texts, no calls, no engagement on their social media. Nothing. Days turn into weeks. They start checking their phone more often, still nothing. And that's when it hits them for the first time. They're the one feeling uncertain. They're the one wondering if they made a mistake. Because now you're no longer chasing. And that changes everything. 16. The unspoken rule of attraction. Here's a truth most don't realize. A person values you based on how difficult you are to replace. When you were always there, always available, they never had to think about losing you. But now they're starting to feel your absence. And that feeling, it's unsettling. They start wondering if they took you for granted. They start wondering if they misjudged your worth. The best part, they don't even realize they're doing it. It happens naturally, subconsciously. Because when something is always available, it loses value. But when something disappears, it becomes a mystery, and mystery creates attraction. 17. Why they suddenly start watching you again. Once the silence sets in, they do what most do. They start watching. They start checking your online activity. They start scrolling through old messages. They might even start liking your posts again, just to see if you'll react. But why? Because they're trying to figure something out. Did I actually lose him? That question keeps their mind locked on you, because the moment a person thinks they might have lost someone who was once devoted to them, it stirs emotions they never expected. It forces them to reevaluate everything. And that's when they start feeling the weight of your absence. 18. The subtle signs. They're testing the waters. Here's where most fail. The second they throw out a test, they take the bait. Maybe they send a random hey, maybe they react to one of your posts, or maybe they text you about something meaningless. But it's not meaningless, it's their way of saying, are you still there? And if you respond too quickly, too eagerly, you confirm that they still have you. Just like that, the game resets. They know they can still get your attention whenever they want, and they lose interest all over again. 19. How to handle the moment they reach out. If they reach out after your silence, most think it's a victory. They think they came back now. I can act normal again. Wrong. This is the most critical moment, because how you respond now determines everything. You have two choices: fall right back into old patterns and let them feel in control, stay composed, and let them work for your attention. The second option is what keeps them interested, because now you're not the same person they once knew. Now you're a challenge, and people crave challenges. 20. The ultimate mindset shift. Here's what you need to understand. You never want to be the person who is always available, always chasing. Instead, focus on your own life and priorities. When you give them space, when you allow them to miss you, you become more valuable in their eyes. You become someone they have to work for. And that's what creates lasting attraction. You don't win by chasing someone, you win by becoming the kind of person who never has to chase. You win by having standards, valuing your time, and making them prove they deserve your energy. That's when everything changes, because now you're in control, not through manipulation, not through games, but through self-respect. And that is what separates the people who get played from the people others can't forget. When your silence becomes unbearable for them, there comes a point where your silence is no longer just noticed. It's felt. At first, they brushed it off, thinking you'd be back. They assumed you'd eventually give in, send a message, try to reconnect. But now they're feeling something unexpected. Your absence is no longer just a minor inconvenience, it's messing with their emotions. They check their phone, hopping to see your name pop up. They find themselves revisiting old conversations, trying to remember if they missed a sign that you were slipping away. And the more time passes, the more they start questioning themselves. Did I push him too far? Was I wrong about him? Is he really gone for good? The secret most never understand: this isn't just about missing you, this is about power. They're realizing that they don't have the control they thought they did. And that drives them crazy. when they start looking for you in other people. One of the most fascinating things about human psychology is that when someone can't have what they want, they start searching for it elsewhere. And when a person realizes you're not reaching out, they try to fill that void, even if they don't fully understand why they're doing it. They might start texting old flings, seeking attention from new people, or posting things online hoping you'll react. But here's the truth, none of it feels the same the second they try to replace you. They start comparing. And when they start comparing, they lose. No matter who they talk to, you're still on their mind. You've become a mystery, a question mark in their head that they can't answer. The more they try to push past it, the more they realize they're only making it worse for themselves. Why their ego won't let them admit they miss you. People have two sides when it comes to missing someone. There's the emotional side, where they feel the loss, the regret, the longing. And then there's the ego, which hates to lose. It won't let them admit they're wrong. It won't let them be the first to fully own up to their feelings. Instead of reaching out with honesty, they play games. They might send a random text like, "Hey, hope you're doing well," hopping you'll take the bait, and restart the conversation. They might suddenly post about how happy they are, how they're moving on, or how amazing life is, just to see if you'll react. But inside their hopping, you're still watching their hopping. You'll give them a sign that they still have your attention. But the moment you don't react, that's when the real battle begins, because now they can't tell if you're truly over them, or if you've simply mastered something most never do. Detachment, the game changer. Detachment, that's what breaks their ego. When they finally realize you were the prize, that's when everything flips. They understand that you weren't just another person. You weren't someone they could string along forever. You weren't someone who would wait forever. And the painful part, they realize it too late. Because by now you've changed, you've grown, you've become the person who no longer waits for their validation. And in that moment, they finally understand what you understood all along. The real value wasn't in their approval, but in your ability to walk away. Because now they're no longer in control, you are. And they're the one left wondering if they'll ever get another chance. What to do when they come back? Here's where most fail. When they finally reach out, most fall right back into the trap. They respond too quickly, act too eager, and give them exactly what they wanted from the start: validation. And once they get that validation, they disappear again. That's why you can't play this the way most do. If they come back, you must stay grounded. You must act like a person who isn't fazed by their return. Don't drop everything just because they text you. Don't make them the center of your world just because they show interest again. Don't fall back into the same patterns that made them take you for granted in the first place. Instead, let them work for it, because if they truly value you, they'll prove it, not with words, but with actions. And if they don't, then you've just won the game, because you finally realize that you never needed them in the first place. Don't chase, level up. If they let you down, don't beg, don't chase. Just level up, focus on yourself, keep moving forward. And let your silence speak for you. If you found value in this, make sure to engage and explore more content. It's exactly what you need to hear next.